Alright, so is it really good?
No.
We did this? Yes? No? Okay. So, there are 761 non-career senior executive service positions. Quite a mouthful. These particular positions do not need Senate approval, and I'm gonna go over what non-career means in a sec. Now, for this particular part of the executive branch, it is an incredibly immense, bureaucracy. 7,000 people fall under this one. And they're obviously not all at the very top. Most of the bureaucracy is at a pyramidal kind of structure. So there are some people at the top, but for the most part, the 7,000, I mean, most of them are kind of trickling out on the bottom of the pyramid. But they do oversee nearly every government activity. So when a law is passed by the president, they're the ones who have to actually make sure that it is implemented. They oversee pretty much everything from beginning to end. So they have to make sure that they have all the permits, all the people, all the workers, all the money, everything that is in place, everything that you need for a project, they're in charge of, and they make sure that it actually happens. Now, about 10% of the people who work in this particular part of the bureaucracy, they're designated as something called non-career, which means that you can't really make this a career, because hopefully a career is something that you can stay with for quite some time, basically until you retire. These people do not stay in those jobs because they are there because of the president. So for the most part, once the president's term ends, they leave with the president. So they're not there, I guess, for life until they retire. They're really there with that person. So not a stable job, yeah.
Are the other ones, also non-career? Or just this one?
Yeah, like kind of weirdly enough, the ones like at the bottom, they tend to stay the most because they have very specific set of expertise. It's really more the people at the top who kind of just delegate and manage them. They're the ones who can be changed. Because usually the people at the top don't really know the specific details that go on with how to get things done, so they can be replaced.
Where do they go to?
Sometimes they go back to another government job, sometimes they become Congress members, sometimes they still stay within the government sphere. So it's something called the Iron Triangle, and we're gonna talk about that once we come back. Yeah, the Iron Triangle. No, Iron, like Iron Man. Then we have 1,538 Schedule C appointments, also no Senate approval. Really the only ones who need Senate approval are like the cabinet members and the department heads, and ambassadors, of course, because that is in the Constitution. All of this was just kind of added on afterwards, and so they don't really need, because it's not in the Constitution, they don't need Senate approval. So these people report directly to presidential appointees, so they're the ones who kind of talk to the people who were appointed by the president, but are not in any type of senior leadership roles. So they don't have contact with the president. They have contact with the people that the president appointed, but that's pretty much where the buck ends. Like, they really don't have any other contact. They're really just there, kind of like secretaries in a way, to make sure that whoever is appointed by the president first knows what they're doing, and also has an idea of how this entire department is structured. They're like, okay, this person works for this department works for this, so what do you want us to do? Right? They're kind of like the liaison between like the little departments and the big honchos of the cabinet departments, of the department heads. Did I tell your children that you're gonna have a quiz when you come back? Okay. Well, let me tell you again. You're gonna have a quiz when you come back, but it's gonna be on Friday when we come back, okay? Because I know that we're all gonna come back. Well, we're all gonna come back refreshed, right? Hopefully. Teletubbies. Alright, so today's name, day, period. Okay, so much like you did for the last one, children, you're gonna be re-annotating this. And then whatever's in bold, you're going to be defining in your own words. You can use your Chromebook for this. For the quiz, it is going to be focused on the presidency as a whole. So you're gonna have to know the powers of the president, the rules of the president, and also these words here will be appearing. So know these words as well. No pyramidal structure, no circular structure, no rally around the flag, trial balloons. All of those you should know who will hold, because that is really what the quiz is going to be based off of, okay? And these words as well. Now, for today, obviously you're not gonna be able to finish all of it because we only have a limited amount of time. I don't even know how much time. Does anyone know what time the bell rings? What? Oh, okay. We didn't have 10 minutes. 25. Can you read, annotate, and define at least 3 words? What do you mean just define? No, read, annotate everything. 2 words? 2 words. All right, 2 words.